don't even know if you can hear me when I talk because it looks like my mic is not plugged anywhere. So I just wanted to stream so I can record some of that process and share it later. Yeah, and maybe I don't speak loud enough, but I also have my mic right there that for some reason is not showing up in OBS. Yeah, you are the only person here, I think. I mean, it's just completely random, it's my time. I already streamed today, so nobody is like expecting anything. So yeah, I guess it's just you and I for now. If I do this, is that easier to hear me? Should be better, right? I'm that dude about filming, yeah. I remember. Then I kind of step away from the idea of talking publicly about AI because I'm kind of burned out. So we can do this, but I don't want to go and talk about AI. It will have to be something else. So I'm not going to paint a lot tonight. What I wanted to do is, because I'm going through I am finishing to illustrate a book right now, so the illustrations you have on the side are some of the illustrations made for that book. And because I'm doing this, I have to brainstorm a bit. And so my brainstorming goes through what I'm doing right now. So what I'm doing is that I'm reminding myself of the work I have done for it, and I'm doing what we call thumbnails right now. And those thumbnails it's just my way to organize I say my, but that's a lot of artists do that obviously, to just organize my thoughts on what will be the composition for the last of all the images I have to do for the book. Hey, can we ask questions? Yes, you absolutely can ask questions, or else I will just, not connect. But I'm just really looking for shapes, like you will see me scribble and do weird stuff like that until I see shapes and dynamics that I like, and I'm just trying to organize my brain around what I want to do for this last illustration. So this is, for the ones of you who are familiar with old classic of fantasy, this is is an artwork. This is a book, Dying Earth, by Jack Vance, as you can see in the title. And I'm a big fan of Jack Vance, so I'm very honored to get to work on some of his work that is a favorite of mine. And so I've done all those artworks that I was sharing with you a bit earlier. All these and a few more. And I have one last artwork to make for the inside of the book, and then I have like the cover as well. And the dynamic of this illustration, that specific story, is a guy who is on a path for perfect knowledge, I guess. And he's working with a woman that he met on his way. To get to basically to reach the creator and ask the creator some question. So I'm just trying different ideas right now. Yeah, today I gave a class about composition specifically. I'm straight up obsessed with compositions. And I like when it's an opportunity to... I don't like too much logic in some of the things I illustrate, so I love to have the opportunity to just compose the stuff as I want to compose it, like I'm doing right now. Well, if you are learning this, it's really all about shapes. So I'm thinking about the story, and again, that story it's a dying Earth. So the sun is red and dying. The Earth is very, very, very old, and it kind of came back to a time of old sorcery and magic. So that's the setting. The future is back to the Middle Ages, basically, and so that's the setting. But this specific short story that's part of this book is about those two people who are on a quest of knowledge. So I want the dying sun, I want the city that they're trying to reach, and I want this couple, and I want the path. Because in that specific story, the main character knows that as long as he stays on the path, he's safe. So there is a symbolic in that. And obviously he cannot help it but step outside of the path. But the way I think is that I have that story in mind, but I'm also trying to drop just good shapes. That's really what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to see how they can interact and how I can put things together. So I'm more thinking about what is the best way to occupy the canvas. And one of the things is, you know, when people look at artists doing thumbnails, when people see me do that, they're like, whoa, you don't even bother drawing. And that's kind of the point. This is a phase, at least for me, into my work where I don't want to even bother drawing, because if I start drawing well, as soon as I start to care and try to draw well what I'm doing, I create a bit of attachment. I start to care about how pretty it looks, how the line works look like, and I start to care, and I don't want to care right now at this point. The only thing I want to care about is how the space looks like, how it's organizing itself. I don't want to, you know, I want to be able to erase that shit and get rid of it without having regrets even a second, if it makes any sense. So right now this one is interesting, shapes-wise, but it's also very unbalanced. So those characters, one of them will need to be stronger. And the other one here maybe. That's a better balance in the image, just as far as shapes. And here we have like some bird and shit. Do I think it's getting harder for Illustrator to I don't know. There's definitely more people going for it. So if there is more people and if there is not much more jobs, I think the jobs are where the industry is booming, and the industry is booming in the, you know, in movies and video games and all that, so that opens more opportunities for concept artists. If you think about it, if you take one video game, you need 100 concept artists. Okay, maybe not, but you need a bunch of concept artists and you need only one person to do the cover, you know. So you need only one illustrator, but a bunch of concept artists. But I also think that when you get really good at something, there is a spot for you somewhere. Well, if you want to work as an illustrator, funny enough, my first job was concept art. Once you have the skills, the painting skills, I think you should be ready to take kind of anything that comes your way, you know. And yes, that's it. You're really, you know, there is no secret to it. You just need to get good at it, indeed. Good books for composition, absolutely, I can do that. Hold my liquid death. Andrew Loomis, Creative Illustration. PDF directly available. You click on that and you have the book. No, I'm not going to do portfolio review right now. Sorry, but you know, I dedicate time to my students for portfolio review. There are also a few people that I mentor, and I don't do free portfolio review. I don't do that. I share my process for free. I share conversations, but I don't do portfolio review. Do I do cover art for musicals? No, I don't at all. By the way, I'm going to slowly reopen that small, tiny little YouTube channel that I was planning to put content on a while back, and I really never took care of it. But I'm streaming some of my classes, and I'm going to put the recording on YouTube. So you all will have access to this at some point. But right now the channel is literally empty. No subscribers, no content, just a few stuff. I think this should lead to it, but again, it's not. I'm going to give it some, personality soon. My rendering is so on point, it looks like 3D. Sometimes I use 3D, first of all. I use 3D, I use photograph, I use a lot of stuff. I also use painting, but I use whatever that's news to me, but that will sound very personal, but it's not. I'm completely open about that. I just learned that I have ADHD, and so that explains a lot of the reason why I do things the way I do. I have zero patience, and I get bored really quick. And yes, a lot of my paintings everything is made by hand as well, I do paint, I'm a painter. But I mix, I love to mix, because I work with digital things. I'm going to use everything I want to use into my images. So if you look at the image that you have right here, the face is painted. It's completely painted, but it's painted from a photo I made of a friend of mine. The character is obviously painted. The horse is painted with some photobashing at some places because I was not able to get it right and I got tired, so I just pasted the photo, painted over it a bit, mix everything. The building, the house, is literally pasted right there. Like you still see the photograph in it, And it just gives it that crisp, but the field is a mix of texture brush and stuff like that, you see? I just don't care. I just do, what feels right and what's needed in a certain moment. There was a time I was almost embarrassed to say it, that I was like kind of cheating by using other stuff than just painting. But today, my painting skills are on point anyway. So anytime I use photographs, anytime I use 3D, I use it for speed. I use it because, as I was just saying, with that ADHD stuff, I can't stay on task for too long, so I get tired of an image really quick. I cannot spend like a week on one image or anything like that, so I need to get through it. Because what matters to me is to tell the stories I want to tell. And so that's why you have that, like that character, the woman character is completely painted from a photo reference of a friend. The dress has some fabric textures that are photographic. This has also a mix of photographic textures and painting. You see the mix of brushwork and photograph in there. This character is 3D with paint over, but you can see like some of the 3D stuff that are underneath it. And I just mix, but this one is really a true mix. There are, pieces of my work that are exclusively painting, and it changes. It depends what I want to do, how much time I want to spend on it, and the renders that the clients want. For example, when I work for Magic the Gathering, Magic cards require a lot more painting because they want that painted render, so a lot of my work for Magic is a lot more, I spend a lot more time painting them. But again, I could go, we could go through my entire portfolio and I could tell you, but the thing is, there are so many. So I started to use photograph in my work because I was not as good as a painter as I wanted to be, and I wanted to create images that had that realism in it. So I started to use a lot of photograph, and I was painting and using my photograph, but there was always some kind of gap between my painting render, because originally I'm not a painter, I'm a drawer. I do a lot of pencils, I love drawing. And so I kind of, at some point I found myself having to learn how to match the photographic render with my painting skills. And strangely, in the last 20 years, using a bit of photograph in my artwork made me become a better painter, if it makes any sense, because I had to match the photographic element with my painting skills. But I show this kind of stuff, but I have a lot of examples of what I do when I simply paint, you know. Where is this one? I'm looking for a specific piece. If you are curious about painting in itself, you know, this is a painting process. This is when I just paint and draw. Because I do love painting, I just don't have that much time now. You know, I have to just create all those images, and I have deadlines. But that's the thing, you know, you talk about photobashing, and that's strange because there are still some people out there who look at photobashing in a weird way, but I'm going to tell you something very simple and very honest and just very obvious, is that if I have a deadline and I have a shit ton of work to do, my goal is not to spend my entire life. I have so many stuff I love to do. I mean, I'm very busy doing also other stuff than just painting. And so if I can save some time using techniques that allows me to play guitar for 2 hours at the end of the day, or go on a fucking drive in the forest at night if I want to be able to do that. So artwork is cool and everything, but if I by using a photograph and painting over on the horse because I'm not able to paint it well, and I could if I was spending 2 more hours, but I just want to fucking have dinner with my friend, you know, then I will have no problem using some techniques that are saving time. It doesn't mean I don't know how to paint. You know? I have nothing to prove to anyone with this. So that's always a conversation that comes up because I talk about this with my students a lot. I can share Moustache Boy again with all of you. That's Moustache Boy right there. That's the first lines of Moustache Boy. That's starting to put some colors and value of Moustache Boy. That's me starting to use some brush with a certain crisp to create a bit of skin texture. And I keep pushing and pushing and pushing until Moustache Boy is, you know, very realistic and everything, but it's painted, it's just painting. With a reference, to be clear, I'm looking at a photo, but... So anyway, you know, the skills are here, it's not the problem. And yeah, you obviously need a lot of, you need your fundamentals. And I have a traditional education, you know, I did learn with drawing and painting, of course. Yeah, of course, when you say you work on Call of Duty and your team does nothing but 3D and photobashing, of course, like, you know, we need to make images. We are not here to you know, to justify the way we work or anything like that. We just need to get the job done. That's what it is. So yes, on this I could have spent hours painting every fucking bricks. Guess what? I have better things to do, you know? And it does not mean that the artwork is weak. I'm not sacrificing the artwork. Yeah, I agree, Mustache Boy is hot. So right now I'm still thinking of shapes, okay? And I kind of like this shape right there that I just made. As I was explaining, I still want my sun, I want the city, and I want the characters, and I want the path. But that is a good shape right there. That is a good shape because I can already see the characters in front of it, and I can already see the sun in the back of it. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, of course, painting is a fun part. Not for me. Not for me. For me, the fun part is in composition and in the way I'm going to tell my stories. I love painting. It's relaxing sometimes, but the fun part is more in composition for me. The way, yeah, how am I going to tell my story? How am I? And then when the painting gets together and is a bit out of the ugly phase, I'm starting to ding the painting as well. I love the finished parts. I love painting all the details, and I love the composition part. I mean, so you know, there's no secret. I love my job. That's no question. So, what I was explaining though, it's the same than using brushes. It's as if today someone had a problem with me doing this instead of painting the fucking circle. You know what I mean? Like, and nobody has a problem with that anymore, I hope. Well, no, I don't hope, I don't care. Some artists don't do thumbnails when they work, but most professional artists do. The way I always talk about thumbnails in my classes is I usually talk about being in a competition with no competition, shooting arrows type of competition, but you can shoot as many arrows as you want. Think about that. And because art is not a competition, you can shoot as many arrows as you want until you know which one is a good one. So instead of shooting one arrow, and take it, you know, it's like, well, I guess it's on the, you know, it's on target. It's not right in the middle, but that's good enough. That will be the equivalent of the people who just start one sketch and push it and finish it. But when you think about it, it's a bit crazy to work this way, you know, to just do one sketch, push it and finish it. It's very, very important to explore your potential composition options before you decide which one is the best and which one tells your story the best. You'll be surprised to see that if you take the time to do some thumbnails, you will surprise yourself with some compositions that are interesting. Sometimes your first idea is the right one, but not always. And right now, I may be, as I'm saying that, I may be sketching the thumbnails I will keep, and that was definitely not my first idea. This one came to me after doing all the ones before. So I want to take that time before I do anything. I want to take that time to see if, you know, if my brain gets in a place that can create some visuals that I will decide to keep and that will be stronger than the other ones. And this one is not bad, actually. It's kind of a repetition of the first one, but zoomed in a way. It's a time and space for enjoying yourself, the thumbnails. It's really that moment where you are free to tell a story just the way you want to do it, and I think it's important to take the time to do that. So I wanted to highlight this one, but it's ugly when I do this, so I'm just going to make a little green, like, yeah, I like this one. You know what? I don't need to do that, because if I like it, I will like it again later. I should not influence my judgment for later. So I'm not validating my favorite thumbnail right now. This is an interesting one too. This is really, really old and very, very short. That was a speed study of a photograph. But you see, it starts like a complete mess where I'm just giving movement with the brushwork right there. And then I'm going more into details and start to paint the anatomy, but in a way I prefer the very, very completely sketchy one where there's just a few values and colors put together with that dynamic right there. Same thing, that's a study, portrait of a friend. So the more I worked with references and stuff, the more I had to push my work to a certain level of realism, but still has that painting energy that I want to keep, absolutely. I feel like this one is a zoomed in of this one, and it's better because it's somehow a bit more radical and direct, and I like that. Most of the time I do not share my thumbnails to my art director, because you can be sure that the art director will pick one that you don't want to pick. Kind of. That's kind of the curse of when you share your thumbnails with the art director. So what I do is I send thumbnails only when I hesitate between some specific thumbnails. So when I hesitate and when I want the art director input, I will, but usually, for example, on this one, I will pick my favorite, I will make a sketch, and I will send that one sketch. I will not even send two options, I will send one sketch. And if the art director comes back saying, oh, could we try something more like this, then I'm going back to my thumbnails, see if I have another one that kind of matches what the art director wants, and kind of find a common ground in that. And just to be clear, I have been many times in situations where art directors have picked stuff that were not my favorite, and I ended up thinking they were right, So a lot of art directors are artists as well, who just know what they are talking about as well. yeah, maybe I should not actually say what I just said, so it's too late. But that's. I have been around for a long time, and I'm not doing that job for just increasing my level of stress, and I'm not doing that job for ending up doing artwork that I don't like. So that's it, I do things my way. I live this way. I literally live like that, and take me or not, really, like I kind of have that attitude. So far, so good. Because I'm always in a good mood anyway, so I can have a bit of an attitude, right? And I'm French, so people are like, "Oh, he's just French. That's okay." I'm like, yeah, that's it. That must be my nationality, right? I worked with Riot actually, and yes, indeed, I had to share all the process and everything. But people at Riot, at least when I worked with them, were pretty awesome to work with, really. At Riot, we had some difficulties on some pieces where I was not seeing it the way the art director was seeing it and stuff like that, but we were always able to talk, um, and we ended up, finding solutions and doing some work that worked. Ish. Riot was a good experience, and I did not work with them a lot, just a few stuff for League of Legends. Yeah, I think I have done about 80 magic cards, so starts to be a lot. I've been working with Magic since 2014. Shit. Yeah, I love working with Magic. It's honestly one of the best clients to have. Art directors are good, the mood is good, the artist is given enough freedom, and there is a sense of, yeah, we are being taken seriously. We know why we are here with Magic. And yes, as well, when you work for see, when you talk about the final is a small size, you see I work with a navigator on the top right of my Photoshop window, and that's something I use even if I'm painting a full size painting. I always have the navigator on the side that I don't use to navigate, but I use to visualize. Um, I use it to visualize if everything reads well at small size. Yeah, I agree. That's a great tip. I don't remember who I got it from, but I got it from someone, and I remember thinking, "Huh, that's a great tip." So you know, I learn my stuff from other people as well, obviously. Yeah, well, I don't even need to do that. I don't see shit anyway, so. But I don't want to stream like this. That will be another. So what I'm doing right now, you see, another thing, if we are talking about thumbnails and thumbnail process, what we are dealing with right here is the fact that I identified the fact that I like this one, and so I kind of identify what may be missing on this one, and I'm doing it on this one now. And one of the things is that I'm looking to see if it will be interesting to complexify the shape of the city. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then I don't know where I should put the characters in that, because if I put the head of the character right here, I'm killing the interesting shape in that. But I don't want the characters to be too small either. Kind of works. It could work. But then I have to do sheets and put them into the fog. And make that shape closer to us. Values. I don't know, maybe we are losing something here. I don't know. That's a good example of what I was talking about when we talk about references and work. Some people will ask, is that character a photo? No, that character is not a photo. That character is completely painted. See what I'm talking about with this. So, but there are definitely some elements into these illustrations that are photobashing, like part of the fur, part of the leather. I did not even bother painting over that, But I don't need to. I'm not trying to make a point about the technique or anything. I'm just making images and I want to make it work. So, but faces, characters, anatomy, I love painting that, so I take the time to do so, Sometimes, not always. Like she is painted too. Her face, her hair, she's completely painted. But the night, there is a lot of photobashing on that. Will I be able to paint it? Yes, I will be. Do I have the patience? Not right now, so... Do I get dizzy when I travel in cars? What's that question? I mean, I drive a lot. I'm a driver. I drive a muscle car at night. A black, very powerful muscle car. I love driving, and that's a place of freedom for me, because again, to go back to that ADHD stuff, I need things in my life that require total focus, and driving is part of that. It just gives me complete, total focus on what I'm doing. That's why I drive a lot, that's why I shoot a lot of firearms. I play guitar. Everything that just put me in a bubble is good for me. Oh, yeah, well, I'm not often a passenger in a car. The music is a band called Saturnalia Temple, and this album is called Aeon of Dragon. Okay, so let's try to... I feel like I have explored those characters a lot. And I need to do some stuff that can be a bit different. I already know I won't like that. I know there is a reason why I was doing what I did before. Yeah, where I live, no matter how much I pay for the internet, it's gonna get bad often. I don't know if I'm back or not, but... Can you hear me again? So what did we miss? A band called Saturnalia Temple. The album is called Aeon of Dragon. And you will think I'm a stubborn motherfucker, but no, I don't take music recommendation. Oh, shit, yeah, you're right. I need to move some stuff around a bit. Thanks. Here you go. I say I don't take music recommendation. And you say Apocalyptica, and here is what happens when music is recommended to me. I don't give a shit about Apocalyptica. They bore the fuck out of me. And I don't care about their music. You try it though? No, I mean I'm dead serious. I really don't like them. I don't like the vibe at all. I don't care. I tried to warn you though, so you can't be like, oh my god, that's rude. Yeah, I tried to tell you I don't. Obviously nothing personal. Well, I mean, welcome to France. I live in America. I'm you know guys, I'm actually American. But also, yeah, Colombians can take this, of course. But yes, as a French person, I have often been called a bit too blunt, let's put it this way. And usually what I tell my American friends in this situation is that, trust me, even in France, people think I'm too blunt. So, oh well. Oh, but I have a full Spotify playlist. But as far as music, I listen to so much stuff that, from, well, mostly black metal, 80s music, from Depeche Mode to Soft Cell to Alphaville to Ultravox to, I don't know, Ponsky Beat, and all the 80s classic, Eurythmics and all that. I'm a big blues fan, I love classical music, I love rock, Guns N' Roses fan, Motorhead, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, all that. I don't know, I love music in general. So, I can send you my Spotify, some of my Spotify lists, actually. Oops, you, get away from me. See, I have those bunch of, I have all those right there. Some of them are soundtracks for my role-playing games, and a lot of those are, I don't know, if you want gold, if you want dark metal, if you want synthetic dark wave, if you want mood for, there is a lot of stuff right there. Yeah, no shit, it's late in France. Hi. Is it late or early? It's actually really early in France. I think the dark layer is a good. This playlist is very brutal, so you need to be ready for this. And just click on my name. I guess you can simply access everything on my profile. I think you can access my playlist from my profile. What the fuck, Womb Scoot will be? I barely listen to it. What? Christ or Cocaine, first song? What the fuck? That's embarrassing. That's a good song though. There is that French singer called Jacques Higelin, and in one of his songs he's talking about Paris at 5 in the morning, where he's going to bed, but Paris is just waking up, and when he's going home there is his neighbor who's like, "Hey, Jacques, are you up early or are you just going to bed?" And it's like, that's my life as well. So this thumbnail is interesting, but it comes with problems. The bright city in front of the darkened character, I don't think I like that much. So it was a good try, but it's not as cool as I would like it to be. So far, as I go, the one in the center is still my favorite. The music I'm listening to right now, I don't know where you can find it. I don't find it on Spotify. I have it on Apple Music. I would say iTunes, but that's dead. Maybe you will have to look for them on Bandcamp or somewhere, because this album is hard to find. That's what we are talking about right there. Psychedelic, crazy, darkened doom. Yeah, but the story is about the building. That building is very important because that's basically the library of the world. That's the goal. That's the entire goal for those two characters. So I want that building to be intriguing and ominous, and make sure that the building is very prominent. Nightmares about French people. Trust me, as a French person, I have had many nightmares about French people. I probably look crazy with my music and my moustache right now. watch me. The basic silhouette dictates of the story of the image, and yeah, absolutely. Like, and that's also why thumbnails are so important. It's that silhouettes just speak a lot. Yeah, all my guitars are all black or red. I have a Jackson V, you know, the beautiful classic Jackson V. I don't use it a lot because you have to play standing, and you know, I don't stand a lot with my guitar. Hey, music. I don't know how to play it yet. Yeah. That's what I love with guitar, is that no matter what, you are going to be bad at it forever. You know, like you can always, I mean, that's not true, not bad at it, but there is always, you are never good enough, you are never, and I love that. I gave up completely the idea of being satisfied with my playing, and yet when I play in front of people, some people are like, oh, I did not know you could play, and I'm like, in my head I can't, but whatever. Thanks for stopping by. Have a lovely night. I'm not going to stay for a very long time either, and like I just wanted to check on some of these ideas I had and see how I can make them work. But I'm pretty much done with them. I don't know. I'm out of ideas. There are other options. So right now I'm thinking about a lot of other options, but I keep discarding them because none of them is worth even sketching it. I can visualize them, and I don't even. I do think that this is the one, and maybe this one. maybe a mix of both. I think this one is a no. I think this one is a no. 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 So I'm going to share that with you all, just for fun. Progress in 20 years. Okay, well, thanks for confirming the fact that the middle one is the one, you know. Well, there is a change of style too, but what is funny between those two images is that there is a the ravens right there that are still present. Obviously the dress with the staircase. So many things that are in common, you know, and obviously like the main character, it's interesting. Smokes. Even when you think about it. Even that hand and that hand right there are so similar. Wow. Huh. So in 2000 I was 18 years old. And at 18 years old, am I sharing this with you all? I guess I am. That's the kind of stuff I was doing. 18 years old, drawing, you know, just drawing characters from our Dungeons and Dragons sessions, and all this is obviously completely from imagination, no reference. Well, to do what I do, I hope you did not hear that I started at 18 years old. Because to do this at 18 years old, it means I have been working before, you know. Yeah, you were born in 2000, that's true. And no, you don't need to wait 10 years to improve, you need to improve, like, improving is a process, you know. But I have some, yeah, that's funny. That was one of my first digital pieces, where I was scanning my drawing and putting colors in it, like, just using the paint bucket and that's so odd to look at that. Anyway. Yeah, I think I don't think we need number 9. So again, in the story, those two characters are trying to find that city where they will find the answer of everything, almost. So I think it would be a good idea to have a symbolic like shape of whatever they are trying to reach right there, somewhere in the building. I think it could be interesting. I just need to get rid of this bird first. And then I can make it look like the birds are coming out of it a bit. What a fucking tangent. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Yeah, so the person I work with for this project is giving me total, complete freedom. They wanted me as an artist to illustrate it, and they are not even giving me an input. They are like, we want you to illustrate that book, do what you want, that's what we want. So that's really cool, and that's why first of all, that's why I have the right to stream it and to share the process with you a bit. And also, this is why I'm really excited about it, because this is a book that I love, and this is a perfect working conditions. It's paying well, and then I do what I want, and that's, for little moments, that is a dream job, really. Or like when I was offered to do the cover for the new Elric book, if you're familiar with Elric, and I was told, just do what you want. I was like, geez, I get to do the cover for the new Elric, and I do what I want. That's great. There are moments where you learn how to not complain in life, because things are good sometimes. Discuss about prices. Do you mean to talk with you all right now about prices? But I'm allowed to do absolutely the fuck I want. It depends. I'm also like, you can ask your questions, and as you can see, I will answer them or not. You just ask, and I will tell you if I can answer or not. No problem. For this type of work, usually I work in between 1,000 and 3,000 for one illustration. And if it's book covers, it's usually between 3,500 and 6K, depending of the project and depending of how much of the right the clients want to keep, if I keep my rights or not, and stuff like that. But I do, especially at this moment in my career, I don't get at my desk to paint anything under $1,000. It's that simple. But most of the time, the jobs I have pay a lot more than that. But it was not always the case. I can tell you this today because I'm where I'm at in my career. But when I started working and making book covers for that French publisher at the time, I was being paid like 500 euros for one cover, and I was already like, wow, I'm making money with my artwork. Today, if a client was offering me $500 for a cover, I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So yeah, I'm allowed to talk about money, of course. a lot of people are very private about money, but I think this is a big, very, very big topic for artists, you know? It's a big deal. Like, it's hard. So, know that I'm in a good place for now. I don't know, you know, I don't know what life is going to be about, but so far. Oh yeah, I like that thumbnail. I like that composition. I think we have it right there. Yeah, it reads well. It reads well as big and small. And I think that's it. How long does it take to finish this illustration? So, since I'm being, you know, we started this talk about techniques and stuff. Right now I have a lot of stuff to work on other than this. You know, stuff I can't talk about and stuff I can talk about, like magic cards and other colors. So since I have so much on my plate, I will frame, and those are, you know, work advice I'm giving you right now. I will frame myself for that cover. We are on, what day is it? We are on Wednesday. I want that cover to be done by Saturday night, Sunday morning. That's it. I'm not spending more. I'm framing it like that. And so to do this, that means that probably tomorrow night, I'm going to go on a 3D software, design the perfect pose and perfect references for the characters. And I will work on the characters first, then I will start to gather a lot of photographic elements to build the castle the way I want to build it, to complexify it a bit. And then I will start to merge everything into a painting. So tomorrow will probably be, I will be painting other stuff and then take 2 hours to start to design the pose of the characters and everything. And then another hour to gather a lot of stuff for the castle. And then the day after, I will probably paint. And on Saturday night, I will probably be drinking whiskey and finishing that illustration with weird music and maybe on Twitch, I don't know. Well, I think this composition works. It works well. I was wondering if I should bring a face into it, because I also kind of want to avoid the emptiness of just silhouette work in front of the silhouette of a castle. That's why sometimes I bring faces in my work, like I did on the image on the side. And so maybe, just maybe we need a face right here. I will need to make it work with still the sun showing up. Plot twist. I will have to play with this idea. See how I can. Oh, you are not sure about that, but you know, once again, I'm not asking for opinions here. It's because it's a moment where I can visualize, where I can take it, and you don't. Because you are not the one doing it. And I think it will come in accordance with a lot of the other stuff I have. Maybe the placement is not perfect, I'm just putting it right there as a marker, as some kind of memory of something I could do. If I do that, I will need to push the tower a bit on the left. To balance things more. Maybe make that face even. This is a moment where I'm just. That's the idea of thumbnails and sketches, right? It's the right time for all this. Interesting. I could maybe even build it in the castle itself. Have a face inside. Maybe that's the way to go, you know? But I feel like I need to give just a little bit more than dark silhouette in it. Yeah, I think it does. I think it does need something. I kind of like that. Obviously that will not be this face, but I like that system. Oh, same thing, you know, quick tip, reuse your own work inside your work to save time when you need to just get your ideas together and, yeah, like I just did. No, those stories are full of different characters, crossing paths and everything, and I think that face makes sense. Again, we are talking about type of composition where I just mix elements without any kind of logic, but the people who are reading that book, they will be able to see that face in the illustration and think, oh, that's the face of this character in that story and everything. And I may or may not keep it. I don't know. And I know it's tempting to tell me what you prefer, but it's not. You know, I will do what I want anyway. So. Because the thing is, I'm thinking next step. And because I'm thinking next step, I can see what I can do and what I will do. And composition-wise, there is something that I don't like in that composition. And it is the fact that the characters are turning their back on us. To me, there is something missing. We are just looking at characters, we are looking in the distance, but no face, nothing. I don't like that. If I bring in the image a face that is staring back at us, then we have this kind of exchange with the piece when we look at it. It involves us in the story. We are not just following two people back in the distance in a game of silhouettes. I know that may sound abstract, but it's major actually. It's really major, it's really important to have that kind of eye contact with the image. And so one way or another, I would like to bring a face into this artwork. I could turn the character toward us, but then they will look like they're coming back from that castle, and the entire story is about them going to the castle. So that face is here to go back to us, you know. And I think it's important. It may not be placed in the perfect way right now. It's not, in fact. I will search a little bit, I will make some tests and try some things until it works, but it's necessary, I think. That's something that I purposely avoided with the previous pieces, you know, they face us. So I don't want to have one illustration that turns its back on us. You say, I wish I had the imagination to enjoy more that part of the process, but maybe you just need to sit down with it. And just... A lot of people think that you just wait for it to come, but that's not really what it is. You sit down and you start making some marks on thumbnails. Like I did, I started to make some marks until I see some of the directions I could take. Or what's interesting is that I will actually right now try another one. I said I was ready to go to bed, but well, obviously I'm not going to bed at this time. But if I learned everything I learned, if I took the time to establish some things like I just did, what I know is that I need enough. Here you go. I'm going to just talk and you are going to follow me on this. What I know from all the things we have done, raiding me with a party of 200 and well, hi everyone, holy shit. So from everything we have done right now, I have come to understand that I want a black silhouette for the castle in the back. Hi everyone, that's a lot of people jumping in at the end of my stream right there. Welcome. I am painting thumbnails for the illustration of a book called The Dying Earth by Jack Vance. I have painted 6 illustrations so far for the book and I need 7. And I'm doing the thumbnail for the last one. And this last one is a couple that is trying to find the ultimate knowledge, and so they're on a trip to that city where they're supposed to find that knowledge. And I did a bunch of thumbnails, and from the thumbnail I picked the one in the middle, and that led us to a quick sketch. And what I was just explaining is that before I put that face up there, we could not make contact with the piece because the characters are turning their back on us and we are looking at the silhouette of a castle, but it's not very inviting. So I started to add a face, but I don't like the way the face interacts with this piece. I love the way the face interacts on the piece on the right, but I don't like what I did on the left. So what I'm doing is that I'm going back to sketching and taking what I've learned from that and from moving to the sketch part. And I'm going to recreate that system that I kind of liked, which was having the silhouette shape over the red sun, having the shape of the character coming, the face of the character coming in right there with probably some hair and stuff. We can something that will somehow like get mixed within the city shape, but having a face that is looking at us somewhere in the castle shape. And then reuse the stuff I was doing earlier with that fog smoke system, and then the 2 main characters as strong silhouettes going towards the castle. And in the castle I also want that window open right there that is a symbol of some kind of knowledge-ish stuff. like something that in shape looks like a white monolith floating over the characters, but in fact it's just an opening, I guess. This man knows how to thumbnail sketch. Yeah, I've been doing that for like what, 20 years now, so yeah, so I think if I get somewhere. Oh, by the way, you all again, like, hi, welcome, follow me on Instagram and shit, you know, very simple. That's it. The arm, you can find me like that. I'm not used to have to introduce myself, sorry, but you know. Follow on Instagram. Yeah, by the way, like, I have strong personality. I am nice to a certain extent. I'm joking, obviously. So once I get that city in shape and that face placed at the, I don't know, there is something I'm trying to achieve with that face right there. I'm obviously not going to make it appear on the thumbnail, but yeah, this is for a client, but this is something I have actually the right to share. So I'm sure some of you know my work for Magic the Gathering. I would never, that's why I don't stream as much. It's because most of the time I'm very busy working on stuff like magic cards or book covers or stuff for, you know, in the game industry, stuff that I cannot share with you live at all, but with this specific client on this specific project, I have the right to share my process, and so I'm taking advantage of that to share some of it. So yeah, so this is a piece for, you know, in fantasy, most of us are obviously familiar with Tolkien and J.R.R. Martin, but there is a guy that has been here for as long as Tolkien has been, and his name is Jack Vance. As you can see, I have like an old cover of him. And Jack Vance is one of the people who wrote a lot about magic and absurd and fucked upness, and is, I think, part of the biggest inspiration for the Dungeons and Dragons magic system. And anyway, he wrote that book called The Dying Earth, and I always have been a fan. And I was asked to illustrate that new edition of the book, new publishing of the book. And so there are 6 or 7 illustrations inside and the cover, and this is again like the last one of the illustrations I'm doing for the book. Being part of gesture drawing, it depends. It completely depends. Like if you, like for example, for this specific thumbnails, for this, well, thank you. They hired the right person. Yeah. For this specific illustration, those characters are purposely very static. They are looking towards the castle. They are slow pace. They are staying on their path. This is literally part of the story. Stay on the path. If you look at the image I have on the right, it's a lot more dynamic. It's a bit stiff as well, but it's a lot more dynamic. And if you do thumbnails for, okay, let me find Iterative. I'm going to find some of my work for Magic. Let me find that. I talked about it today in my previous stream in class. She's somewhere. Shit, 2017. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Iterative for Magic the Gathering. She's vampire, creature of the night. I could talk about this illustration a lot, but I won't. But what I wanted to share with you was the original thumbnails I had for it, which are really, really quick and just, yeah. So gesture, yes, a little bit. Posture, attitude, yeah, because those thumbnails are excessively quick and dirty and ugly, but it's a lot about the attitude, because this image is a lot about the attitude. Anyway, I made a PDF about this specific image. Show you that really quick. With my thumbnails, and the final thumbnail was this, as you can tell, which is a lot closer to the final result. And yes, I decided to tell people she was a vampire by giving her a fang blade that looks kind of like she took it from the moon in her hand. And then once I have my thumbnails, wait, what am I doing? Once I have my thumbnails, I made a photo shoot with a friend of mine, with, as you can see, like lots and lots of photos, so that I could use that for references and start painting. So what you see here on the right is a sketch I sent to Magic. No, this song is not French, no. And then, like different tests, final adjustments for colors and light and everything, and you can see all the painting work and shit and stuff like that. It's a final piece. I have an entire Twitch stuff that I recorded today where I was also talking about this one, so I should put that on YouTube at some point when I reopen my YouTube channel. When I open it, because I never took care of that too much. So usually when people ask me if this is French or not, I should always answer yes, of course it's French. No, it's this. So yeah, I think we have it. So by the way, for the ones of you who don't know me or anything like this, I have a very, very busy life, and I stream when I'm in the mood. This semester I decided to stream some of my classes online, so a lot of people can come and see what I do, what I'm teaching. I'm teaching a digital painting class, but in my class I tend to assume that my students can practice as much as they want, find a lot of tutorials, technical tutorials if they want all over the internet. So what I bring to my classes is a lot of lecture about more like the attitude and ways of life to be a professional artist working today. Talk about that a lot, and of course I give a lot of artistic input and artistic knowledge. And anyways, those lectures are on Wednesday at 3:30 Eastern time in the US, because yeah, I'm French but I live in the US. And so you are more than welcome to join that, but other than this, I stream at completely random time, when I have the time for some reason to share some work. It's not often, but tonight was the night, I guess, but So we have kind of a trilogy of thumbnails that I like and that I will sketch from. I think that's what's working best. That's definitely not working. I don't care about that. These look like they are having fun jumping on a gym. I don't know what you call that, the stuff that you do some gym on. So no, thank you. It's not working. This one was okay, but I moved it to that. This one was just an attempt, and this one is. So I think that's it. I think we got enough to work now. Right there. Yeah, thank you. The shapes, I also talked about shape a lot in my lecture today. I talk about composition by contrast. I talk about composition by contrast. And what I mean by that is contrast attract the eyes. Anything that contrast can be used by the artist to attract the eye, okay? And so in your composition system, when you want to attract the eyes to some specific element, once you have your hierarchy of information, what matters, what is the main focus point, what is the secondary focus point, and what are the third tertiary elements. Once you know how to do this, you can accentuate contrast to, again, attract the attention. And those contrasts they can be contrast of values, obviously. Like you can see it on that illustration on the right. Okay, free class for everyone. Like you can see it on the illustration on the right, you have that contrast of value between like bright value and dark value right there. Everywhere I play with this, we have like a dark building in front of a bright background, a dark character in front of a bright background, and so on. Even the blade, as you can tell right there on top, is a bright blade on a dark background. And once you so contrast of values, contrast of details, because wherever you bring more details, you will attract the eye as well. Contrast of shapes, contrast of directions, contrast of colors, contrast of brush strokes, all the contrast you can think about and apply and use to direct the eyes of the viewer is your way to tell your story the way you want to tell it. The same way when I teach a class, I know how to make a point about something specific, and I decide where to put a silence to make sure everyone listens. So I create contrasts, like I just did right there. It's not nothing magical, but those are the things we do in life in general that we can just simply apply to our visual creations, I guess. I find that very interesting. I'm quite passionate about how do we tell stories, whether they are written, visual, or anything like that. Yeah, kind of a mountain leading to the cloud, yes, or kind of it's just, that's what I do with my layers, indeed. The layers of light dark, they are kind of steps to take, in a way, if it makes any kind of sense. I was sharing the artwork Iterative with you a second ago, and we do have that same system, if you think about it. This exact same system of values. We have the character that is a kind of ninja shadow character in dark values, contrasting with the very bright values of the moon. But then I did bring light on her face, so her face has darker values right there, catching light, highlighted by the dark of the hood. So the dark hood makes the bright face pop. The dark hood makes also the silhouette pop in front of the moon. And when everything goes dark, then we have the blade that is bright as well. No, you can ask questions, it's fun. I mean, I'm done streaming anyway right now, so I was done with my thumbnails. But then everything else in that illustration right there is kind of secondary, you know. All these elements back there, they kind of fade in the distance, they don't matter that much. And a student of mine was asking why I left so much empty space, in a way. All that is kind of empty. So first of all, the reason why I did that is that the magic card itself is that format. So nothing else, you know. All this is not even part of it. So that's the magic card. But I wanted, in that final composition just for myself, what I wanted is, I wanted to leave the room for her to jump and fall on us, because she's a killer. That's why there is so much empty space right there. I wanted that space, you know, to tell us, yes, she's higher up, and when she falls, she kills. How long do I spend on an image like that, not counting the reference collection? I was explaining earlier that I am an artist who found out recently that I live my life with ADHD, and that everything in my life was organized to cope with something I did not know I had. And I'm not going to make it all about ADHD, obviously, but the thing is, I cannot spend too much time on an illustration because I get completely tired of it, I can't see it, and I get like almost like allergy reactions at some point. So I must move to the next things that I want to do, the next image I want to do, quite fast. So I do work quite quickly. And I also I had to adapt my workflow this way. So when some artists have the time to spend days after days after days painting all the details, I do paint a lot, but I paint what I like to paint. So I paint the characters, I paint, you know, I love, I'm going to share that again. Once again, those are things that I shared earlier, but they are interesting since there are a lot more people who have joined right now. I'm going to show you that. I'm also a figure drawing professor. That's what I love doing. It's painting the figure, you know. And so this is just a study, completely painted. You know, there is obviously it's a study with a model, you know, and there is no photobashing, no fancy Photoshop brushes, nothing really special with that. And you can see the step by step of the piece. And that I love, that I have fun doing those stuff. So I do those stuff a lot, but if you look into the wall, for example, you will see straight up some photographic texture that is mixed with a lot of Photoshop brushes. And you will see that in that building as well. You will see some photographic element and some painting element and just some shit mixed together. Like, this is straight up photographic right there. By the way, when I use those photos, I use photo stocks that, you know, I buy those from stocks and from people who are actually making money selling this kind of stuff. But the character, the face, she's painted. You see? And so I paint what I love to paint, and I save time where I want to save time, and then I have a painting style that can get realistic enough that my painting and my use of photography can meet somewhere in the middle to create some images that are sharp with some kind of harmony, you know? So yeah, that's it. What else do I have there? I can show a lot of my work for Magic, but I'm looking for some cool ones that I did recently. This was for marketing, if it ever opens. Okay, all right, yeah, this one was it was for marketing for Magic, and same thing, you see, like, Yeah, that's exactly smart, but still working, because when you save some time for yourself, when you save some time using a photographic texture here and there, you give yourself more time to paint other stuff, you know, other stuff in the same painting. You give yourself some time to spend some time that you like on other aspects of a painting, or you give yourself some time to start another job. And we all know that making a good living as an artist today is not easy for everyone. And I think one of the things that makes I live very well with my artwork, it's because I also I have techniques that allow me to work on several pieces at the same time, because I know where I can save some time, so I can work on several stuff and get more money from different clients and everything. I never understood the idea of working smart. Can't do it. That's funny. And sometimes you will be surprised at what is painted and what is not. Some people think that, some stuff are photographic, but in fact they are completely painted. One of the okay, and then I'm going to go at some point, but this one is interesting if I find it. I'm going to drop some artwork just on you right there. Okay. If maybe. All right. This is getting difficult. Oh, no, it's just because I'm just a freaking idiot. I thought I was dropping stuff in Photoshop. At some point, you also learn how to. Here is a sketch. I thought you would like that. There is one element that is photographic-ish and painted over. It is the wings, but everything else is completely. Because I'm telling you, I have other shit to do than painting feathers, But you will see all the rough painting in the armor that lead to this final piece right there. Yeah, it's early in the morning in Italy. Yeah, so I'm in the US. It's 1 in the morning for me. I'm on New York time. I don't live in New York. I exiled myself in the lost parts of America. But it's 1 in the morning for me, and I'm going to disconnect the chat. Maybe go on a night drive in the forest with music. Or maybe I will just play more guitar, because my fingers are not bleeding enough for today. All right. So I'm just going to drop my Instagram for you all in the chat again. I will drop my YouTube channel, but I need to actually dust it and start it, but I will. And yeah, stay tuned, follow me. I'm giving more and more content. I want to start doing that a lot more, and that's it. Thank you all for stopping by. I'm sure there are a bunch of people here who don't know my work and are discovering those things right now, so that's pretty sweet. All right, take care, you all.